Do you have 12 by 12 paper in your craft stash that you think is maybe a little bit more suited for scrapbooking, but you'd like to figure out how to use it on cards? Hi, I'm Jess from JessCrafts.com, and I'm here to help you make the most of your crafty supplies and time. So let's get making. Today I am working with the Paper Rose Spring Bunnies collection. I made a video with this collection in 2024 and I think 2 of them in 2025 where I have been kind of slowly tackling. I'll make another one here in 2026, and I looked at how to use this really large scale pattern paper. I mean, this collection is so pretty, but these bunnies were a little bit big, so I talked about in a video about how to use those. And then there was this paper that had all the cut aparts, so I talked about how to address that. And I also had a video where I used this paper that has the large border on the bottom. So today I am going to tackle Spring Bunnies E, which has the flowers all around the edges. I think this is something that is kind of common, and it would be so pretty for scrapbooking because you could just put a photo and some journaling and be done, and it would give you a lot of really that cool frame for your photo. However, that's not how we use it as card makers, and so what I tend to do is look through my collection of templates and think about which template would help me to use the features or the really pretty bits of a patterned paper. And this often does mean that I'm working with double-sided paper because sometimes I am going to be in this instance, I'm going to be cutting these 2-inch squares, and it might leave a few papers that are kind of awkward, but we can talk a little bit about that. And so here is 12 by 12 paper busting template number 47 for A2 cards. There are 50 in all. It's available in a pack in the Etsy shop, but there are many free ones on JessCrafts.com. And also, this sketch is so simple, the sketch and template. You can write down all the measurements because there's only one measurement. We're making 2 by 2 squares. Although I guess there's 2 measurements because you need 2 1/4 by 2 1/4 inch mats if you're going to make the mats to go with it. So let's start making this card. Cut off the branding strip, and when using tools like paper trimmers, please follow all manufacturer safety instructions. The branding strip is something that on one side has all the writing and branding information, and the other side is really cute, and so you can just use that on the inside of cards. My 12 by 12 templates use just the 12 by 12 area without scraps, so that's what I would do with that. Now, I want to make my 2 by 2 inch squares, and the reason that I think that's a good fit here, we're gonna cut 2 inches off the end, is this border is about 2 inches wide. And so now I can cut the border off all the sides and I will be able to use them on cards. Now, I will have to consider the directionality. Here along the bottom of the paper, the squares I'll have to turn so that the flowers are facing up. So it's not a big deal. I don't have to think about it while I'm cutting this paper. This template does work with directional pattern paper. However, because they are all squares, I can turn them any way that I want to. And so that makes it good for this particular design, where when I go to cut the next 2 inches, I'll cut another 2 inches off. I will be able to still turn the square the way that I want it because the directionality of the paper is actually different. It went from this was the top of the paper to now this is the top of the paper. So picking a template that works with a variety of directionality helped a lot in this particular instance, and having all the papers be the same size. So that's what really made me realize this particular sketch was going to be well suited to that. So then I will take my 2-inch strips that are 12 inches long by 2 inches tall, and I'm going to start cutting them into 2-inch squares. And here's where the challenge becomes, is that if this were only single-sided patterned paper, I would have to decide how I wanted to handle the pieces that have just a little bit of the pattern. Honestly, I think you could use them and it not be a very big deal in general, particularly with this template, because say I did want to cover up this small amount of pattern that's along the bottom, I could choose for it to be one of the background pieces and it would easily be covered up. However, the center of the paper, because it's supposed to really be, again, I assume it was kind of designed with scrapbooking in mind or using as a full 12 by 12 sheet, it gave you a really blank area. And so it's just kind of, this white color. I'm gonna probably use the backside of a lot of these because of that, but I can mix in some of the pieces that have a little bit more design if I would like to as well. And so I will keep cutting the pattern paper into 2-inch squares. The mats for this card are also very simple because we only have 2-inch squares. We need 2 1/4 by 2 1/4 inch mats. So 2 1/4 inch square mats. I'm gonna measure 2 1/4 inch over from the 8 1/2 inch side, but you can also always just bring it over to the 2 1/2 inch measurement. I'm starting with a full piece of cardstock, and it is certainly not the most efficient way to tackle this, although the piece that I'm going to be left with now, I'm bringing it to 2 1/4. Is going to be fairly substantial. It is going to be 1.75 or 1 3/4. And so I will be able to use that on another card. I always do suggest going to your scraps first. So of course, you can get as many squares as you need, or see if you can get the squares that you need out of that. However, you're going to need 6 squares per card, and we are going to make 6 cards to use up all of the 12 by 12 patterned paper. So I will keep cutting. So now I have the 11 by 2 1/2 inch squares. Or 2 1/4 inch. I will cut 2 1/4 inch off of the end here until I have all of the squares I can get. It will leave me with a piece that is 2 inches by 2 1/4. And so again, that's probably another piece that I could use for another card, but it's also a piece that I could use to make fake foam tape. Normally, I wouldn't necessarily need trays to help me organize for this type of card because all the pieces are the same, although I do often pull them out to keep things organized and keep, what I need for each card separated. But the reason I pulled them out today is because I want to make sure I have a good mix of the papers with heavy floral and the more plain papers. Now again, I'll probably be using the back side of these, so I'll use the green watercolor side. However, I still want to make sure I have a good mix of them. And if you did want to, if your paper was single-sided or something like that, some things that you could think about is it'll look fine to just be white on these cards because there is so much layering, and it's a great place to put your focal point, stamp an image, that kind of thing. But also you could kind of create your own pattern with like stencils, some ink blending, maybe a background stamp, something like that, kind of turn it into your own patterned paper is another option. So I just want to separate out the more plain ones. Oh, got a few mixed in there. And I was curious to see if I would have like an even amount of each, but I don't. So my cards will look a little bit different from that perspective. So some of them will have 3 green pieces and 3 florals. But also what I can do in this instance is, okay, so I've messed up. I think I have 5 down here at the bottom. So 2 of the cards would have 4 heavily floral pieces. So I could pick my least favorite floral pieces and just turn those to their backside too, so that all my cards are more similar. And that's how I would work around that if I really did want them to be a little bit more the same. When assembling this card, you're going to be doing a lot of layering. And if you're working with some thin cardstock, it might work out just fine, but my cardstock's a little bit thicker, and so as I start layering these they kind of stop like making good contact with the bottom of the card because they're being propped up by all the layers underneath. So something that I'm doing with some of the scraps, I realized that now these are die cut scraps because I was also using my scraps to die cut, something which I will talk about in just a moment. But you can take some of the scraps that you created while making the mats as well, and basically just using them to prop things up, kind of like just having fake foam tape, but in this situation, I am kind of making it on the fly to fit the pieces that I am laying down, and I am doing a bit of a pattern where I am doing a flower green, and the reason that I have chosen that way is so that the green is the last one and I can add my embellishment to it in a way that will let it really stand out. But of course you could make your more like pattern covered piece stand out in the end, and I am referencing my sketch off to the side so that I could get an idea for like how it might all best layer up. And so you start with one in the top left corner and layer back and forth until you get to one that sits in the bottom right hand corner so it fills the entire card. However, if you want to play around a little bit with the balance of all of that, you can. And so I'll need one last bit of cardstock to prop up this section here. Let's talk about embellishing the cards to complete them. So I have printed my Easter card toppers. They're available in my Etsy shop. They come in color, black and white, and with no image in the center if you just want to have these sentiments and then stamp your own images or anything you want to add. And they do come with a PDF that has all of the designs in 2-inch circles, but also the images so that you can then print them out whatever size you want. Okay, so what they have in this particular collection pack, and I'll use a variety, is have an extra special Easter with an Easter egg, wishing you a very happy Easter with a little baby chicken, have a sweet Easter with some jelly beans, and you are somebody special to me. I tried to think of like a variety of sentiments so that you would find what you needed for your particular Easter card needs. And I'm going to put a variety of them here on the bottom circle. So I size these to be 1.5 inch circles instead of 2-inch circles because I do give you the option of being able to resize them so you can do things like this and make them custom to your card. And then I cut them with circle dies and I cut a scalloped circle to go around them. Often I will say cut your mats for these like scalloped circles or things like that from these background mats because most of it will be covered up. And as you can see, it would be. You could absolutely cut your mats like for these scalloped circles if you were doing something that was the same size, but it does get a little close. And so sometimes if it cuts out too much of the center, I don't necessarily recommend that. However, in this instance, if I was going to do it, I would probably, since I only need one mat for each card, I would probably make it out of this one that's here in the top corner because I think so much of it being a little bit covered up and it being the one that's like making the most contact with the card, it would probably be okay if there was a big old hole in the center of that one. So I will place these on each card using a variety of the images and sentiments from the card toppers. So continuing, I have 6 completed cards with this one sheet of patterned paper that at first looked really great for scrapbooking and quite difficult for card making, but by strategically cutting it into these 2-inch squares, I was able to add the pretty florals to these Easter cards. If you found this video helpful, here's another video where you can find more ideas for enjoying your crafty time and supplies. Let me know you like this video with a share to your crafty community, subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss the next template or tutorial, and check the video description for product links. See you in the next video.